Alright, so this is a tutorial video I'm making for my nephew Daniel on how I write music. This is my setup I use in Finale. I've used different versions of Finale program. The reason why I usually use this version is so I can set I'm more used to using this version, and it gives me a basic structure. So what you need to learn when you're writing music, make a little brackets here, is parts. Parts A, B, and C. Wow, can't write. And C. And how to organize them. So part A is usually after these 8 measures. It's usually another 8 measures. And this is going to be your verse. On is your refrain, and C is either a third theme or else is actually the refrain, depending on how you want to write. What I do here is this is the melody line, this line here. This is the second melody or counter melody, depending on how I want to write. This is the bass line. This is pad 1. And this is pad 2. Then depending on whether I need more stuff, I will simply add it later or not. So let's get going. I'm writing in a B flat minor. So just write a bunch of chords. I like that. And then I need to hit the 5 right here. So we need to find the 2 now. So we need to find a C chord. This sounds very major for some reason. B flat major, that's because it is a major. Let's play it through. Do do do. This should not be this. Alright, so what do we have here? We have wrong button. B flat, another B flat, an inversion of B flat. A. This is a diminished, a dim, into a C, C minor by the way, into a F7, into a 1/7, so B flat 7, into a C 9, add 9, into an F7 7, into a B. So when I analyze this as a classical composer, I actually don't use this method at all. I actually use this method. This is 1, this is 7, this is 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1. And the reason why it's important to know this is you need to know this measure right here. This chord sets up this chord, which leads you back to this chord, the 2, 5 to the 1. And you can write the same way. You can write a C, you can write a C7, C9. It doesn't matter what the second number is, just has to be some sort of C chord because it sets up the F chord. And the F chord is the only chord that matters here. Because if you have this chord here, the F chord, and then the B chord, you have a song. So you really only need 3 chords. And you can write whole songs about that. I'm just writing chords at random just to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to get rid of that because it clutters up the screen otherwise. All right, now I have 4 measures. That's my generally when you want to write music and how I write music is everything is in 4 measures. So there we go. This is intro measure, and then we have 4 measures. With this measure being both the intro to the next set of 4 and the end of these. So I'll write a bass line. I almost always write my bass lines like this, which is just playing whatever note is in the bottom of the chord. Then copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Let's play it through. Now we have an idea what we want to do. Now I'm going to get rid of all this because now I see whenever I write music, I actually just kind of throw notes at the wall, and then whatever I start to like, then I'm going to keep. I'm going to move all this over, all the highlighted stuff over, so that I can use it later. I'm probably going into a minor mode here and going like on a descending minor line, so like A minor, this chord into a G minor rather than a C, and I'll try to tonicize or make that 5-1 motion the dominant to tonic. Those are very important words to learn. Around F or D minor. So then the second theme, this is already theme B, starting here, will be different from theme A. Theme A is just going to be mostly an introduction theme. And depending on how I like it, then it'll become either the main theme or stay as an introduction theme, and then the main theme is later. So let's write a melody. Melody is usually built out of notes of the chord. So like if I'm in a B chord here, these notes here, B, D, and F. When I usually sketch melody lines, I usually just simply take those chords and I'm just going to run through different variations of those. So you see we have this motion here, the F to the C. Let's write that in. So go dum, na, 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 na. So I need to make this louder. So what I usually do is for a melody line, it's usually a string or a lead. I'll make it a square lead. This is a pad. The piano down here is a pad sound, so it should be a fake string, so like a synth string. Bass is usually a any kind of bass actually. The notes and everything in finale don't really matter until we get to exporting them out, which I will cover in a little bit. This is to be quieter. So whenever you're arranging music, you have to have your loud, medium, and low. Essentially is how I like to think about it. And because when you actually, as I'll show you later in FL Studios, when you want to make a melody stand out, it's most of the time it's just because it's the loudest voice playing at that time. Dum bum bum bum. Let me explain this melody right here. Sorry, so we have a set of music right here, and it's going to look pretty much identical to this one in this measure. In classical music, you do this all the time. This is like a theme, and now because my chords change slightly, I rewrite the same notes almost exactly, just using the different set of chords. So this is a B chord right here. So this is a B, and this is a D part of the chord. This is an F7, so it's F, A, C, and an E. So then I put the E up here. 7 chords almost always resolve downward, so the 7th, which is the E, this note, is going to resolve into here. Resolve just means it goes down 1 pitch. And you notice this is a 1-7, and there's an A here. The A resolves right in here. It's not going to resolve in this melody line. See, it's not a particularly good melody line, but if I was to let's make it go on again. Actually, I like that. So I'm going to make this more of a big stop. So we have our measure 4 with the end, 4 with the big end. And when I write music, I do this all the time, and later I'll have to go on and fix it, and I'll probably have to edit this measure out entirely, or else edit this measure out entirely. It's something you hear, and depending on how you hear music is how, it's more or less how you'll come to a finished product. So there's two things to note about music writing. Either it's already in your head and you know what it is, what you've wanted it to be the whole time, or you learn by doing it. So if I was to write music on a piano, I literally sit at a piano and I just play out chords and I find 4 chords that I like, and I play those 4 chords over and over again, and then I start to add melody line above it. So that's essentially what we did here. It's almost the same method as playing on a piano. Here's my bass line. The bass line just is the same thing as this line, because you see you can put a running note in, like right here. You could put something right here too if you wanted to. I don't really feel like it. You put running notes here too. Da, da, dum. And so as you're going to keep on writing, you're going to keep on adding more and more notes until the whole thing becomes a cluttered mess. So now I'm going to make this line the melody line. Where do these notes come from? These notes, they're part of these chords. These notes, these chords, these notes, these chords, these notes, these chords. So this is the basic way I write music. This is one theme. This theme right here. So then I'm going to write 2 more themes, and then I just take everything out and I'll export it to Finale. This is a happy theme. Almost all my themes are happy themes, I think. And that's the structure. Let's call this electric cup. I think is the name of it, electric cups. And that's the primary way I write music. The other way is if I wake up with a tune in my head, and I have had many times of songs like that, or if I look at someone else's music and I kind of copy it. But this is the very beginning of a basic outline of how I write music. Stop recording.